Hello, my name is Paul. I'm the Accidental Bookseller. Welcome to the channel. So I've created a brand new tag called the Book Fan Behaviour tag. It covers book buying, what you do in the shops, superstitions, if you've got any, lots of things that I'd like to know how other people behave around their love for books. There's also 3 what-if scenarios of what you would do in certain situations. I've got a habit of tagging loads of people sometimes, so I've not tagged a huge amount, but if you haven't been tagged and you fancy doing the tag, by all means have a go. And yeah, shall we start? Question 1. Do you carefully examine the condition of all copies of a book in a bookshop before buying? I've talked about this one before. I am pretty bad at doing this sort of thing, but I just want to get the best copy possible. Now, if I'm in a bookshop and there's maybe 15 to 20 copies, I have been known to go through each of the copies and compare them like for like. So I will get 2 books in my hand and I will say, oh well, that one beats that. Oh, that's got a bit of a crease on the spine, so I'll keep with this one, and then I'll put this bad one down. I'll pick another one up, and if this is the winner from the last round, I'll study this one, and or there might be a little bit of a crease mark in one of the pages, so I'll put that down, and eventually I'll get a winner, and that's the book I walk out with. But I do that for most books that I buy in a bookshop, and even in a supermarket. I'll still do it where there's maybe 7 or 8 books on the shelf, but those do get damaged a little bit more than in a bookshop. So if a book is lining up on your shelf, I don't want one that's got a little bit of a nick on, or you can see a white. Sometimes it's kind of scuffs up at the bottom, and you can see a little bit of a white mark. Yeah, I'm finicky. That's probably. But yeah, I'm like that. Are you like that? Number 2, if yes to number 1, are you brazen about comparing them in front of others, or do you wait till it's quieter or other customers have gone? In a bookshop, I I probably react differently to when I'm in a supermarket, because I know that in a supermarket, the people walking down the aisles are not necessarily book fans and might not understand. This is all whirring about in my head, by the way. I know in in other people's heads, they're probably looking at me thinking, "What is he doing?" But in a supermarket, I will wait till the aisle is quite quiet or empty. I pretend to be studying various other copies, knowing that I'm going to be buying a particular book. And when the aisle's empty, I'll start comparing them. In a bookshop, I'm a bit more brazen, because obviously there's plenty of people in there browsing around. So I can't wait till it's quiet in there. So I do the same thing, but I'm more brazen in bookshops. Number 3. Do you have a special book buying or book carrying bag? So if you're going on a book buying spree, or you maybe you go to a book club and you've got to take the book with you, or if you're going to work and you're reading a book in your dinner hour, do you carry the book loosely and risk it being damaged? Sort of related to number 1. Or does that not bother you if you damage it while reading? As you probably realise, I don't carry a book. I do have a bag, and it's a specific cloth bag, and this particular one is bought on the water. When I was a kid in the 70s, we used to go on holidays to the south coast, and on the drive back, as at the end of the holiday, we'd always stop off overnight in Bolton on the Water in the Cotswolds. So I've got lots of happy memories of it. And I went a couple of years ago and I got this bag. So I was on the lookout for buying a new book carrying bag. So I use this if I'm going to a bookshop and I'm intending to buy books. Nice and soft, and it's not going to get damaged. And part of the reason for this tag is I'm just wondering if anyone out there is as weird as me about their behaviour around books. Do you have any book reading superstitions? Number 4. So my superstition for books, and I don't know if it's a superstition or not, I guess it is that I have a rule where if I buy a book, I can't read, it can't be the next book that I read. So let's say I'm reading a book. Let's say I'm reading this book. This is a novel. And I buy another book. My superstition entails me, so when I've finished this one, I can't read that next one that I've just bought. There's got to be another book in between before I read the book that I've bought. I don't know whether bad things will happen to me. I don't know if it's that type of superstition, but I've just done it for years and years, decades. And it's something that I always follow. Now, as it happens, because my TBR, or the amount of unread books that I've got, is so great anyway, it's highly unlikely that a new book that I buy is the one that I want to read next. So maybe it's a bit of a wasted superstition, but that is my superstition around book reading. I hope I've explained that well enough. What do you have, if you've got one? Interesting to see how honest people might be. So number 5 is the first of the 3 what if questions. You're on a cruise in the Pacific Ocean. One evening, a freak wave washes you overboard. Through hanging on to some floating driftwood, you eventually are washed ashore on a desert, sun-drenched island. But it's deserted. During this time, your favourite book of all time is in a watertight, sealed bag in a rucksack on your back, as luck would have it. Let's say you were reading it on the cruise ship, and so you got it in the bag, and so you've got it with you on the island. Months go by. You build a shelter and fish for food. You're always hungry, but never starving. One day, you take a walk on the island beach shore. At the end of the beach, you come across a man cooking food on a table. He offers you a glass of cold milk, a very large pizza with huge amounts of topping, and chocolate gateaux with cream. You say you've got no money. Aside from the fact that you're confused to see him, but you say you've got no money. He says it's okay because you've got 3 choices. Choice A: you can give up your all-time favourite book for the meal and 1 meal a day for the next week that he'll prepare. Choice B: you swap your all-time fave book for 3 books on your TBR, which he's got, coincidentally. You get no food, so you're just taking your favourite book that you've got kept with you for 3 books on your TBR. You don't know what they're going to be like, but they're on your TBR, and he magically has them. Or C: walk away, get no food, and keep your favourite book. What do you do? So A: give up your all-time favourite book for the meal and a meal every day for the next week. B: swap your all-time favourite book for 3 books on your TBR, presumably randomly. Or C: walk away, get no food, and keep your favourite book. What will you do? Number 6. What do you use as a bookmark? Is it just a normal bookmark? Is it something sentimental? Or do you use any piece of available paper? So me, I tend to use smaller type bookmarks. This is from Westwood Books in Sedbergh, as is this one. I don't like bookmarks that stick out of the book. I like them to be kept in the book. Don't ask me why, I just don't like it. And then sometimes I use a postcard. This is Bell Rock Lighthouse in Scotland. I got this free I've just recently read a book on lighthouses called Sea Shaken Houses. Really good book. And this came free with it. Number 7. Do you buy more hardbacks or paperbacks, and why? I buy more paperbacks than hardbacks, principally because of space. Yeah, money is a factor, I guess, because I don't buy a paperback straight away when it's released. I'll put it on my watch list and I'll observe the price. If it gets reduced, I'll pounce. But I choose paperbacks rather than hardbacks principally because of space. I just don't have the space anymore. As you can see, I've got books on the top of books, and I've started double stacking behind books as well. So until I move house and I have a dedicated room, which is on the plans to do soon, and that'll be an entire room where it's all the four walls are bookshelves. So I want to buy a house that has a middle downstairs room. I guess some people might call it a dining room, but I want to have a library room. Question 8. If you were to find a secret, unpublished sequel manuscript that no one else has seen, what would it be a sequel to? So I'm going to choose a sequel to Day of the Triffids by John Wyndham. So the sequel has to be written by the same author as the original. So John Wyndham writing a sequel for Day of the Triffids, because Day of the Triffids is so thin, and it really could do with being longer in the aftermath of the Triffids taking over. It's such a fantastic book that I've only recently read, and I regret not having read it for the last 45 years while I've been reading. There have been sequel books written. I've recently picked up Night of the Triffids by Simon Clarke, and I'm on the lookout for another 2 books. There's another book by someone called Simon, which is kind of like, I think it follows on from Night of the Triffids, and then there's another book which it might be called Age of the Triffids, where it follows on directly from Day of the Triffids, I think. But that 4th one, I can't find it anywhere. It's just not available online. When you're looking to trying to find the book online, it appears that the publisher doesn't exist anymore, and they stopped publishing not long after that particular book was released. Finding a copy of it is pretty next to impossible. I've even considered writing to the author just to see if there's any spare, if he knows where any spare copies might be. I'm sure there's a Kindle version somewhere, but I don't read Kindle books. I only read normal physical books. So yeah, Day of the Triffids, sequel to that. So that's that one. So number 9 is the second what if question. So you live exactly half a mile from a major chain bookstore, e.g. Waterstones or Barnes and Noble. It's a big one. It's exactly half a mile. Not a mile, not less than, exactly half a mile. And the zombie apocalypse begins. Like all survivors, you raid the supermarkets and pharmacies for lots of food and bottled water, sufficient to last for months. You are holed up at home in a protected space. You begin to think of the bookshop, which won't have been looted. All those thousands of books available. Despite your existing book collection, what do you do? Do you risk it all for hundreds of free new books? If so, how? This is a toughie because if you're watching this channel, you'll watch other Booktube videos and you'll be a book buyer yourself, sufficient to have lots more books than you've read. So you've probably got enough books to last you quite some time. And do you really need the books in the Barnes and Noble and the Waterstones? But we are talking lots and lots of books, series together, and you won't pay for them because it's the end of the world. It's not going to open again. And they're going to be sitting there, you'd have thought. So what do you do? No matter how many books I've got here, I think I'd have a bash at it. Yeah, I'm risking my life, but I would probably have seen what the extent of the risk might be when I've been to the supermarket to get the water and the food and stuff prior to being holed up. And what I think I might do, because it's half a mile, I'll do it in stages. So there'll be houses that won't have anybody in. And maybe I can go from house to house to cover the half a mile. But when I get the books, and I'll have like maybe 2 big rucksacks with me, and have I thought about this too much? So I'll have 2 rucksacks with me, probably not too big because I've got to carry him and I'm going to have to be moving pretty quickly. But importantly, I don't think I could do the half a mile all the way back with the books, because that's probably risking too much. So I'd have prepared certain houses along the way. So or even maybe I can do several runs to the bookshop, and maybe let's say there's 2 houses on the way to mine, and I'll store some books in the first house, go back to Waterstones, get some more books, put them in the first house again. Again, I'll have to see how the land lies. I'll do it in daylight, because presumably they act like they do in the films. They might not be out as much in day. But yeah, so that'll be how I get from the bookstore to a house, to another house, and then perhaps to mine. Well, I don't think they're just gonna. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be sat at home with the books just calling to me. Paul, come and get me. Paul, come and get me. Stupid question, but if you're a book fan, I'm I struggle not to think that. I think many people will want to risk it. Number 10. When reading a book, do you just look at the words and read them, or do you use a finger or bookmark underneath the words to track your eye progress? So I think I've got a little bit of a problem that I've developed in recent years. It's kind of like like a golfer with the yips, or a dart player has dartitis where he can't release the dart. I sometimes reread particular lines if I haven't taken them in completely to the point of understanding the exact sentence. I can find myself reading and reading and reading the same sentence over and over again. It's really annoying and frustrating, but I find that I can banish doing that if I track underneath the word. So perhaps my brain is concentrating half on the finger, half on the word, and I'm actually taking all the words in. Sometimes I don't need to. So, for example, on non-fiction books, it doesn't tend to happen. Fiction books, it perhaps happens a little bit more. Again, I'm strange. But do you do anything like that? Number 11. Have you personally met any authors, and if so, who? So I've met Carlos Ruiz Zafón at Hay for a talk and a signing, author of Shadow of the Wind. Rupert Everett, the actor, again at Hay. Brian Aldiss at the Cheltenham Book Festival. That was in about 2011-ish. Still quite an old man at that stage. Really nice man. In fact, all the people that I've met have been nice. And who's the other? Oh, Virginia McKenna, the nature activist, born free. Who else? One more. Oh, China Mierville, again, at a signing. He talked on the same day as Brian Aldiss. Number 12. Do you have any bookish memorabilia on certain authors or books? I don't know that I've got any other memorabilia other than the 2 Clive Barker paintings that are on the wall opposite. I'll put the photographs of the paintings above me there. So I've got 2. I've got Lucian the Ghost and The Lovers. And I read one day that Clive was appearing at, or his work was appearing at a gallery in Carlisle. And I figured it was going to be somewhere in Carlisle, America, somewhere, if there was a Carlisle in America, because he lives in Los Angeles. But as I read on, I realised it was Carlisle in Cumbria, which is about 50 or 60 miles above me here. It was when I lived in the Midlands, so I needed to drive all the way up. But I could only got there a week after the exhibition. So all the paintings that were at the exhibition were for sale. And so I got 2 of the ones that were still available and that were unsold at the time. There was one, a really nice painting that had long gone by the time I got there a week later. So I got these 2 paintings, and yeah, very nice they are too. Not for everyone, of course, but I am a collector of Clive's work, his books, his films, and his paintings. Wish I could have got there the week before though, when he was actually there. So what do you have? If you've got anything, not just like that, but anything else memorabilia related? Number 13. Number 13 is the final what if question. It's another glass half empty question. The world is about to suffer a cataclysm, but you have managed to get a space in an underground nuclear bunker where you will live for 12 months with lots of others who have been chosen. You are only allowed to take 5 books with you into the bunker for the 12 months. What do you take and why? So the first one is a really heavy one, and hopefully I won't have to carry it around too much in my bunker. I mean, and this is the illustrated Sherlock Holmes. It's the facsimile edition of the Strand magazine, the original illustrated Strand. Got it years ago from the Works for, I think it was 20 or 25 quid. It says 75 recommended retail price, but it's 20 or 25 in the Works, and it's got the gold end. Very nice patterned inside, and it's got illustrations from the Strand magazine when it was originally published. So that'll keep me going for a while, I think. So that's one of them that I'll take. And then I thought, I don't really know what the cataclysm is. So if there's going to be, let's say it's a nuclear war, and all the books on the surface are going to be contaminated, aren't they? So my favourite book might not be available to me. So I'll take my favourite book down with me so I can keep it for perpetuity. And it's The Shadow of the Wind. Talked about it lots. Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I love this. This is the first version. The later versions are a darker design. But yeah, so this will go down with me. I want to take a book that I've not read that's a reasonable meaty one. So I've got Sacred Games by Vikram Chandra. This is a 947 pager. 7 years in the making, Sacred Games is an epic of exceptional richness and power. Vikram Chandra's novel draws the reader deep into the life of Detective Sartaj Singh and into the criminal underworld of Ganesh Gatonda, the most wanted gangster in India. I think I had this on my tag for the unread books tag. I really need to get to it. So I'm going to be down there a year, so I'll get to it. I did consider one of my 5 being the Bible. Not overly religious, but it would be a nice thing to read if you've got the time, and I'll have the time down there. But then I figured there's going to be other people with the Bible, so maybe I could borrow it if I'd read me 5 and I was looking for something else. The fourth one is the complete H.P. Lovecraft. You've seen this before if you've watched my channel. This is a really nice edition. I think it's a Barnes and Noble edition. Pretty sure I picked it up in America. Might say inside actually. Yeah, 2008 Barnes and Noble. Want to take this with me, A, to read, B, because it's meaty, and C, I don't want it to be destroyed and have no copy when I come out after a year. The fifth book I'll take with me is the Centenary edition, The Complete Chronicles of Conan by Robert E. Howard. I've never read any Conan. I've not read this book. I need to. And in the 12 months that I'm down there, then I'll have plenty of time. It looks the massive book, but it's actually smaller than the Vikram Chandra paperback. 925 pages. Yeah, so that's the fifth book that I'm taking. So what would your 5 be and why? Last question, number 14. How long ago did you realise your book buying number was much greater than your reading number? And by that, I don't mean 3 or 4 books that you've still got to read while you're reading the one that you're on. I mean, a big long pile of books that you'll get to, let's say, soon. So at some point you might have realised, I'm buying a lot more books than I'm reading. Does it bother you? Does it not? Doesn't necessarily bother me, because I like to think I'm a collector of books as well as a reader of books. I'm going to do a particular post on that another time, and why I think it's okay. The question says, how long ago did you realise? So I'm going to say about 15 years. I think before that, I think my reading and buying were relatively under control, the buying of. But about 15 years ago, I think that was when I probably realised your buying's getting a lot bigger than your reading number. And I think that might be during times when, your reading declines a little bit through just other reasons why you can't get to as many books as you'd like to. And there's still books to buy. So yeah, I'm not bothered. Number 15, tag others. So I hope you've enjoyed the tag. There's a couple of these that I've seen on other tag videos. I think that I remember seeing the bookmark question. But yeah, all these are around book fan behaviour, even the what ifs, especially the what ifs. So yeah, there we go. So please consider doing the tag, regardless of whether you've been tagged or not. I'd be curious to know everyone's answers. That's the end of this particular video. If you want to see more videos that I produce, by all means click like, click subscribe. It would help me out and mean the world to me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Goodbye.